Welcome to the deep dive.
Woohoo.
You know that moment, right? You're sitting in an interview, maybe feeling a little nervous, heart's kind of thumping away, and then it comes that question. Tell me about yourself.
For so many of us, and I think especially if you're maybe just launching your career, a newbie office worker maybe, or navigating a new professional chapter, it can feel like hitting an immediate brick wall. What do you actually say? How do you distill your entire professional existence into something compelling without rambling or sounding like you're just reading from a script? Well, today we're going to try and cut through that struggle.
Indeed. And it really isn't just a polite icebreaker, is it? It's arguably the most critical first impression you'll make.
Oh, absolutely.
It really sets the tone for the entire conversation. And without a clear strategy, what can be a golden opportunity often turns into this, well, anxiety-filled preamble.
Yeah, leaving both you and the interviewer feeling a bit lost, maybe?
Definitely, I've been there.
Our mission in this deep dive is to unpack a powerful, proven framework designed to transform this daunting question into your greatest asset. We're drawing insights from a really fantastic source titled Ntekenhenga Ntekenmeka, which translates to self-introduction, the key to interviews. And it provides a structured yet flexible approach to what many people perceive as a really unstructured challenge.
It's exactly. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut to unlocking confidence, clarity, and, genuine connection in those pivotal moments.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give you a clear, concise narrative formula, something that not only employers can easily follow, but also one that genuinely represents you, no matter where you are in your career journey. Whether you're fresh out of college, maybe transitioning from an internship to your first proper full-time role, or making a big career pivot, or even if you're a seasoned pro just looking to refine your pitch, this framework is incredibly adaptable. It helps you articulate your unique value. So let's really unpack this then. Why does this question carry so much weight? Why can't we just, launch into a chronological history of our last job or where we went to school? It seems like such a simple, open-ended request on the surface, but it clearly holds a lot more strategic importance than just getting to know someone.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here is how multifaceted this question is for the interviewer. On one level, yes, sure, it's an initial assessment of your communication skills. Right. Are you clear, concise, articulate? Can you distill complex information about yourself into an easily digestible format?
Right. The basics.
But the deeper layer, and this is key, is about discerning relevance. They're looking for an immediate logical connection between who you are, what you've done, and crucially, what you bring to this specific role and this specific company.
Ah, okay. Specificity.
Exactly. It's their first real signal of whether you've done your homework, whether you actually understand the job, and how you might fit into their team, their culture. It's not about your life story in a, chronological sense. It's about your professional narrative, specifically tailored to the opportunity right in front of you.
That makes so much sense. It's like they're giving you this blank canvas, but they secretly want you to paint a very specific picture, right?
That's a great analogy, yeah.
But what's happening in their mind when we start with that strong opening? Is there a psychological advantage beyond just sounding prepared?
Oh, absolutely. Beyond just assessing your skills, a strong opening statement has profound psychological impacts. When you start with clarity and confidence, you immediately establish a positive professional tone. This actually reduces what we might call interviewer fatigue or, disinterest right from the outset. Imagine an interviewer who has a stack of candidates to see in a day.
Yeah, it must be tiring.
A clear, focused, and relevant introduction acts as an immediate signal. Okay, this is a serious, prepared candidate. It primes them to listen more intently. We can even connect this to cognitive science principles like the primacy and recency effect,
Yeah. What you hear first and last.
Exactly. Interviewers, like all humans, we're kind of wired to remember what we hear first and last. So by leading with your most relevant present and then finishing strong with a compelling future that's perfectly aligned with their role, you're not just presenting facts, you're sort of hardwiring your core value proposition directly into their memory.
Wow. Hardwiring it.
And it also triggers what psychologists call a halo effect.
Okay, what's that?
Well, if your initial impression is positive, you seem organized, articulate, relevant, the interviewer might subconsciously view your subsequent answers through a more favorable lens.
So they give you the benefit of the doubt later on.
Potentially, yes. It sets a positive baseline.
So it's not just about what you say, but how it lands and how that first impression shapes the rest of the interview. Conversely, what happens if we don't hit that mark? Especially when we're feeling a pressure maybe of being an emerging talent, that newbie office worker you mentioned, without a long career history to lean on.
That's where the pitfalls lie, unfortunately. A rambling, unfocused answer can signal, well, a lack of clarity, maybe poor self-awareness, or even a misunderstanding of the job itself.
Right. Not good signals.
Not at all. It suggests you haven't taken the time to craft your message, which can implicitly raise questions about your preparedness for other aspects of the role. For someone early in their career, this can feel incredibly overwhelming. They might mistakenly believe, oh, I don't have enough stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I can see that. The imposter syndrome kicks in.
Exactly, but the beauty of the framework we're about to discuss is that it's incredibly adaptable. It empowers you to frame even limited experience, whether it's significant academic projects, impactful volunteer work, or short internships, within a forward-looking, goal-oriented context. It helps bridge that perceived gap in extensive experience. How? By demonstrating thoughtful self-assessment and a clear alignment with future potential.
Ah, potential. That's key for entry level, right?
Precisely. That's often exactly what many entry-level roles and career transitions are looking for. It's about showing your trajectory, your potential, not just your past accomplishments.
Okay, so we definitely need a strategy, something that moves beyond just crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. Our source material highlights this framework that sounds, well, incredibly straightforward. Past, present, future. Can you walk us through what that actually means? And maybe, more importantly, why it's so uniquely effective for someone trying to make a strong professional impression, especially if they don't have, say, a decade of experience under their belt.
Right. This framework is truly elegant in its simplicity, but it's really powerful in its execution. It's about crafting a succinct, logical narrative that guides the interviewer through your professional journey, and crucially, in under 2 minutes.
Under 2 minutes. That's tight. So where do we even begin in that compressed time frame? Do we start at the beginning, the past?
Counterintuitively, no. You should actually start with the present.
Okay. Interesting. Why the present?
Because it's about immediate relevance and impact. You focus on your current role and what you're actively doing or have recently achieved. For those just starting out, your present might not be a full-time corporate role, and that's okay. It could be your most recent internship, maybe a significant academic capstone project that mirrors professional work, or even a relevant part-time job or a leadership position in a volunteer organization.
So it's about what's happening now that's relevant.
Exactly. The focus remains on what you are doing right now that demonstrates applicable skills and recent, impactful achievements. It immediately grounds your introduction in what's most pertinent to the job at hand. Then, once you've established that, we gracefully transition to the past component.
Okay.
Now, this is not about rehashing your entire resume chronologically, line by line. Please don't do that.
Right. Avoid the history lesson.
Precisely. Instead, it's about strategically highlighting experiences or skills from your background that logically led you to where you are today. And crucially, experiences that are relevant to the specific job you're interviewing for.
Connecting the dots.
Exactly. It's about connecting the dots, showing your progression and evolution. For instance, if you're a new graduate, your past could include specific coursework that developed key analytical skills. Or maybe leadership roles in student organizations where you honed teamwork, or earlier internships that build foundational knowledge. It explains how you develop the skills or interests you're leveraging in your present, and why you're interested in this type of opportunity. It's not just a history lesson, it's a narrative of purposeful, skills-based development that makes your unique journey clear.
So it's less about a chronological dump and more about a curated highlight reel showing development. That makes sense, especially for someone who might feel their past is a bit short. And then the future element, that sounds like where the real connection happens.
Precisely. Finally, we arrive at the future component, and this is arguably the most crucial part for an interviewer, particularly when considering candidates with less extensive traditional background.
Why so crucial?
Because it's where you articulate what you're looking for next, and, critically, how this specific opportunity aligns with your aspirations and goals. It answers that implicit question every interviewer has. Why here? Why now?
Right. The why us question.
Exactly. For an early career professional, this section is your chance to shine. You demonstrate foresight, initiative, and a clear understanding of your career trajectory. It shows you're not just looking for any job, but this specific one, for compelling, well-thought-out reasons. It's where your passion and research truly come together. You know, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this framework mirrors traditional storytelling arcs, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, every engaging story has a setup, your past leading up, then a current situation, your present actions. An anticipated resolution or future goal, your aspirations, ideally involving them.
Ah, like a mini story.
Yeah.
Present, past context, future goal.
Exactly. It makes your introduction naturally engaging and memorable. It provides a sense of journey and purpose that resonates with listeners, making it much easier for the interviewer to follow and retain the information you share. This structure transforms a potentially dry recitation of facts into a compelling personal narrative, and that sets a much more impactful tone for the interview.
And a compelling story, as our source highlights, isn't just, a sequence of words. It's a strategic tool designed for maximum impact, especially, I imagine, when you're building your career from the ground up, like our newbie office worker. So what are these strategic advantages that make this past, present, future formula such a potential game changer?
Okay, the first major advantage highlighted in our source is that it creates a clear, concise narrative less than 1-2 minutes that employers can easily follow. Now, this isn't just a suggestion, it's a critical element. Brevity, honestly, is an absolute superpower in interviews.
Why is brevity so powerful?
Well, partly because interviewers are often on tight schedules, yes. But more importantly, it demonstrates executive function, your ability to distill complexity, prioritize information, and respect others' time. It's a subtle signal of your overall professional competence, which is especially crucial when you don't have decades of experience speaking for you.
I can absolutely picture that. A meandering answer immediately signals, well, chaos maybe? Or lack of focus.
Exactly. Chaos or lack of preparation.
But is there a fine line? How do you ensure authenticity when you're being so concise and following such a clear structure? Don't you risk sounding like a robot?
That's a great question, and it really speaks to the art of this. The goal isn't to sound robotic at all. Instead, by having a clear structure, you actually reduce your cognitive load during the interview. You're not scrambling for what to say next. You're flowing through your pre-thought-out narrative.
Ah, so it frees up mental energy.
Precisely. It allows you to focus on delivery, on making eye contact, smiling genuinely, letting your personality shine through. A concise answer avoids the common mistake of tangents that leave the interviewer confused or bored, subconsciously raising flags about your focus or communication clarity. For emerging professionals, this is particularly vital. You might not have 10 years of experience, but you can show impeccable communication skills and an ability to get straight to the point. And those are highly valued attributes everywhere. All right. Secondly, this framework explicitly aligns your background, current role, and future aspirations, all tied to the job.
Alignment again.
Yes. This is about demonstrating fit at a really deep level. You're not just listing facts, you're creating a coherent story that logically leads you to the specific opportunity. It signals that you've done your homework, you've researched the company and the role, and you're genuinely interested. You're not just, casting a wide net hoping something sticks.
Right. You see a clear, compelling connection between who you are and what they need.
Exactly. You're showing them you've already found your place even before you've started. That's a powerful message.
So it's about showing them you've already visualized yourself fitting in.
Precisely. And for those early in their careers, this is critical because it allows them to frame even limited experience within a forward-looking, goal-oriented context. Even if your current role is still academic or an internship, you can align its lessons and achievements directly with the requirements of the job you're seeking. This demonstrates not only your potential, but also your understanding of the professional landscape and how you envision yourself contributing. You're showing you're not just looking for a job, but this job, and that you understand why you're a great fit. A third significant benefit. The framework naturally invites follow-up, keeps you on message, and sets the tone.
Invites follow-up. How does that work?
Well, a good answer isn't a dead end, right? It should be a springboard for further conversation. By strategically highlighting key achievements, skills, or passions within your present and past, and then explicitly linking them to your future, you're essentially giving the interviewer specific threads to pull on.
Ah, like conversational hooks.
Exactly. You're subtly guiding the conversation toward your strengths, areas where you can provide more detail and truly shine. This empowers you, the candidate, to subtly control the interview narrative. Instead of passively waiting for questions, you're proactively shaping the direction of the discussion.
That's brilliant. You're essentially laying out breadcrumbs for them to follow, leading them to your strongest points.
Precisely. For example, if you mention a specific project where you took initiative and maybe solved a problem, the interviewer might then ask, "Oh, tell me more about your approach to problem solving in that project." And bingo, you get to elaborate on a strength you want to discuss. This also sets a professional, focused, and confident tone for the entire interview. Imagine the interviewer hearing a clear, confident, relevant opening. That initial positive perception can profoundly influence the remainder of the discussion. Remember that halo effect we talked about?
It all connects.
It does. And finally, this framework fundamentally helps you maintain control over the narrative right from the outset. By structuring your answer, you significantly reduce the likelihood of getting sidetracked or discussing irrelevant details. It's a professional, focused, confident tone, signaling you're organized, thoughtful, and can present information effectively. For early career professionals who might be more prone to nervousness or feeling less experienced, having a prepared yet adaptable structure can be a massive confidence booster. It helps ensure they convey their message with clarity and impact.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you listening right now, maybe thinking about your next interview? Let's dive into the actual template that our source provides. This is where you can start to really construct your own powerful introduction, turning all this theory into actionable, personalized practice.
Absolutely. And remember, this template is a flexible guide, not some rigid script you have to memorize word for word.
Right, flexibility is key.
The real power lies in understanding the intention behind each segment and how to adapt it to your unique circumstances. It's designed to be universally applicable, even for those with limited traditional professional history. It lets you highlight relevant experiences regardless of their nature. Let's kick things off with the present component. I'm currently role, where I highlight recent achievements impact. The core information here is to immediately establish your most relevant current professional identity. Simple enough. But the crucial part, and we've touched on this, is the emphasis on achievements impact, not just a list of duties.
Quantifiable results, if possible.
Whenever possible, yes. Think increased X by Y or reduced Z by A%. Even if you're early in your career, think about internships, significant academic projects, volunteer work. Where did you have a measurable impact? For instance, instead of just saying, I was a student intern, you might say something like, I recently completed an internship at company name where I managed the social media content calendar, which resulted in a 30% increase in audience engagement over 3 months. See the difference?
Huge difference. One's passive, the other shows active achievement.
Exactly. Or if your current role is still being a student, you could adapt it. I'm currently a senior studying business administration, and in my capstone project, I led a team that developed a market entry strategy for a startup, projecting a 15% revenue increase in its first year through detailed financial modeling. This immediately showcases your capability and impact, even without extensive full-time experience. It's about demonstrating value through results, no matter the context.
That's a key distinction. Impact over just tasks. It shifts the focus from what you did to what you achieved. Okay, so once we've established that strong present, how do we weave in the past without sounding like we're just reading off a resume?
Excellent point. Next up is the past component. Before that, I described relevant background and how you got here. The core info here is to bridge your past experiences to your present and future. But again, this is decidedly not a chronological history lesson.
You got it. No reciting.
It's about explaining why you are where you are today. What skills did you develop along the way? What passions did you discover? How did previous roles or academic pursuits or even significant personal projects shape your professional journey towards this specific type of opportunity? For someone early in their career, this could be about foundational skills gained in education, maybe early part-time jobs, or even a pivot from a different field. For instance, building on our social media intern example, you might add. Before that, I volunteered for my university's marketing club, where I first discovered my knack for understanding audience trends and leveraging digital platforms to build community. That really sparked my interest in digital marketing.
Ah, showing the spark.
Precisely. Or for the business administration student. My interest in strategic planning was really ignited during my coursework on global markets, where I learned the importance of robust financial analysis and competitive intelligence. That ultimately led me to focus on business strategy. This part makes your story unique and personal without oversharing. It humanizes your resume by showing a clear, intentional path of development. It helps the interviewer understand the journey you've taken and the key learning moments that have shaped your professional aspirations.
So it's really about showing an arc of development, a logical progression, rather than just a random series of events. That brings us to the future. How do we connect all these dots effectively to their company?
Finally, we have the future component. Now I'm looking to tie in what excites you about this opportunity. This is where you articulate your career aspirations and, crucially, connect them directly to the role and company you're interviewing with. This is your chance to show you've genuinely researched the company and the position. Be specific.
Specificity again? What does